Ivana, welcome back again.
Oh, Mark, I feel like I just spoke to you yesterday.
Well, it can be that feeling, can't it, Ivana, on the show? And now that we're getting together on a regular basis, I'm happy that we can share your genius with the world on a more frequent basis. So how's your last week been? Good?
Well, thank you for calling me genius. Nobody has ever called me that.
There you go.
But yeah, it's been good. Weather in Sydney's improving, so it's time to hit the beach, I think.
Yeah, it's a shame for all those people sitting around the world that would love to come to Australia for a holiday at the moment. I'm sorry you can't come, but we're moving into spring at the moment.
I wonder how much longer it's going to be. I mean, last time we talked about going to Hawaii. I'm hanging to go, so I wonder how soon. Can you do something about that?
Well, I tell you what, I've got a little bit of inside knowledge on that, and I'll give some new, breaking news or whatever predictions today. Put the date of 31st of March in your calendars, folks, because something.
Which year?
2021.
Okay.
2021. 31st of March, 2021.
Okay, let me put that down.
If you're into international travel from Australia, that might be a day that you're quite happy about everything.
Okay, do tell more.
No, I can't. That's it. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
31st of March.
Save the date. Save the date.
Save the day.
Okay.
Now, if you haven't tuned in before and you're coming across this strange guy and this lovely lady talking about websites, that's because we're doing a series. Ivana Katz is our resident website guru, genius now, I call her. And not only has Ivana helped us build the Humaneity website into a groundbreaking, world-beating, world-class website, but she's also helping lots of other customers building their websites as well. So if you're out there and you need a new website, or you want your current absolute mess of a website refurbished, then Ivana's the lady for you, and you're going to get all her contacts in the show notes. Now, we've got a couple of exciting things happening through every weekly show at the moment, haven't we, Ivana? Because we've got a competition running. We're going to tell people about that a little bit later on. But I thought we'd start off first by having a chat about what we talked in the last episode about.
Yeah, so do you remember what we talked about last time?
I do. It was all about colours and fonts. And
very good.
If I remember, there were some cupcakes involved as well.
You are so going to be focused on those cupcakes, aren't you, until you get some.
That was your fault.
They're sugar-free. Well, you know what? They're sugar-free because they're just a photo. So, yes, that's correct. We went over choosing fonts and colours for your website, and we talked about different tools that you can use. So if you haven't, if that's where you are in your online journey, check out our previous episode where we cover a lot more ground.
Yeah, brilliant. And also what we're doing is Ivana is, she's doing a quick website review of a particular website as we go through each episode, just to give you some feedback on the websites that you've submitted to us. So if you've got a website and you want Ivana to do a quick overview on this particular show each week, send it in to us and we can have a chat about it, or Ivana can have a chat about it. So yeah, we have a look at the a website that someone sent us, and you've got one today, Ivana?
Yeah, I do, and it's called Another Way Life Education. I think you probably have do you have a slide of that?
So we've got a website to show, haven't we, today, Ivana?
We do. The website is called Another Way Education.
There we go. It's up and running now.
So, okay, great. So first, I wanted to cover the things that I thought the website owner. Who are we talking about, by the way? Who is the website owner? Do we have the name?
Yes, the lady's name is Snezhana, and Snezhana is from Macedonia, and she's currently living in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay. So fellow Eastern European. From between Albania and Bulgaria, Macedonia, correct? Yeah.
And Serbia. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I'm not sure how long she's had this website, but I want to touch on a few things that I think she's done really well. The first thing was it was great to see a video testimonials on one of her program pages. A lot of people don't have testimonials, let alone video testimonials. So that's really good. And the other thing, she's got ability to book online coaching and counseling services online. So if somebody's looking at their website at 3:00 in the morning, they can actually book through her website. So again, that's really good. And she's got links to all her social profiles. And from what I saw, I had a look at a couple of her profiles. She seems active on there. So that's really good because Google looks at your interaction social profiles. So those are well done, thumbs up. In terms of improving the website, what I would say, the slideshow, which is at the top of her homepage, is too harsh. I was almost getting seasick looking at it because it would flash and it would just disappear. And it's if you've got a slideshow, I would allow it to fade rather than go quickly from left to right. So that would be one of the first things, because if somebody's looking at it and they're getting agitated, they're not going to want to read anymore or look any further. The second thing is her tagline, and she's got something that says life-changing journey to happiness and success. And whilst in theory it sounds nice, to me it's too generic. I work with a lot of coaches and consultants, and a lot of them use very similar sort of tagline, but it doesn't actually explain what it is, what is the benefit that I will get at the end. And I'm all about giving people within 7 seconds understanding of how they will benefit from my products and services.
Yep.
So I would probably change that up a little bit and maybe give more of a benefit in your tagline, so that when somebody goes there, they go, yes, I need her services. Let me click through to her services page or products page or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
The next thing is she does have a contact page, but most of her contact information is actually hidden at the bottom in the footer. And the most prominent thing on her contact page is a form. And forms have a way of failing. And I think, it's a good idea I understand that why people have web forms is sometimes they need extra information before they speak to people. Sometimes it's just easier for them so that they get the results and people are not calling them directly. But remember, the website is not about you. It's about what you can do for your clients. So if they prefer to talk to you on the phone, feature your phone number, have your email address, have the web form, have all your links to social media. Just make it a little bit more prominent. I've got a couple more things. And so one of them is the website needs consistency in terms of images. And we talked about this in our last episode. The images should be real rather than stock images, because then your website ends up looking like everybody else. And one more thing that I do want to say about photos that you display. The photos she's got in her slideshow, they're stunning colors. And if you're a photographer, showcasing your work makes perfect sense. But I tend to think that the photos on your website need to reflect the end result of what you're going to get with my services. So in your case, if it is a journey to happiness, maybe have photos of real people that you are consulting with, people that look happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Showcasing what the outcome is of doing business with you. Yeah.
Because looking at her website at the moment, she's got, as I said, the photos are stunning and I love the colors, and it would make sense for a photographer or a travel blogger, but it doesn't really make sense for a happiness coach.
Yeah, right.
So I would like to see real photos of real people. Again, not stock images. Get yourself a photographer and have photos, even if you have to stage it for the website. But that goes far. It goes much further in terms of how people feel about your website. And the final thing that I wanted to mention, her services or her programs is missing calls to action. And we will be talking about this as when we talk about your client's journey or your visitor's journey through your website, what it is they're expecting to see. So at the moment, there were no calls to action. I finished reading the information and it's like, now what?
Yeah, right.
So those are my tips for this particular website and how to improve it. And we can add this website to the competition that we're talking about.
Yes.
And so I might be able to do a full website review if she wins it. So that's the website review.
Fantastic. Snezhana, I'm sure that you appreciated that feedback from Ivana, and she's giving you some hot tips there on how to improve it. So we'll give you a little bit of time to go away and improve those things if you want to, and come back and throw your hat in the ring for our competition that we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the episode. So thank you for doing that, Ivana. Now, what are we going to be talking about today?
Okay, so today's topic is we're going to be planning the design of your homepage. And this was, I was thinking, like, does it make sense to talk about it now, or do we leave it a little bit later on? But I think if we start getting people thinking about the whole process and what they need to do, this is a good way to start. So last time we chose colors and fonts. And so today we're going to be talking about how you actually lay out your homepage. And in future episodes, we'll talk about the internal pages and the actual content. So this is more the graphic layout of your website. And it's a good idea to initially, whether you're working on your own and creating the website yourself, or you're working with a developer, have a look at your competitors or have a look at other websites. And let me just close this down. Have a look at other websites and see what elements they have and what you would like to include on yours. But I kind of have a bit of a formula for creating a homepage, because it's going to be generally the first page people arrive at when they're coming to your website. Sometimes they won't, especially through search engines or if you've got landing pages, but this is kind of like your key most important page. And so what I would suggest is that you either get pen and paper or a whiteboard, or even some people have done it in PowerPoint, or you can use tools such as Canva, which is a graphic tool, and just jot down where you want certain elements to appear on your homepage. So in most cases, you would have your logo at the very top, followed by the navigation, or you might have the logo on the left and navigation on the right, then followed by your tagline and maybe a large image. And one thing that I did want to mention is sometimes websites can look similar, but the reason that they look similar is because they work. And people expect to see certain things in certain places. So if you were to put back when I started designing, all navigation bars were on the left-hand side. Now you rarely see it. So people come to expect to see certain elements on a page. So give it to them. Don't try to be different. Don't differentiate yourself
by being different.
Yeah. No, by doing it, because people expect. So if they expect to see your navigation at the top and you've got it on the left or right-hand side, it kind of, they might not scroll to it or they might not see it. And so give them what they're expecting to see and differentiate yourself by the images and the content and the things that you give away.
Yeah, really important part, that.
Yeah. So we've got the tagline, and we've talked about this last time, and again this time in the website reviews. It's important that it's a benefit to your customers. Your tagline needs to grab them within the first 7 seconds, and they need to feel like, yes, this is for me. This website is for me, and I want to find out more information. And we will talk about taglines and things when we're talking about content. Your website, and especially your homepage, should focus on solving your customers' problems. So what I often see is the very first page that customers send me is the About Us page. And that can go on for 3 or 4 A4 size pages. And they talk about everything, including their dog. Speaking of which, we don't have Oscar on Humanity, do we?
He's going to have his own website. I haven't told you about that.
So. Right. And he should. So the About Us page, I think a lot of the times it's something people are comfortable talking about themselves, and they've got a lot of content. But people really don't give a damn. And it's harsh to say that people don't care about you. They don't care how many children you have. They don't care so much about what you've done. They want to know how you can help them. So your homepage and your services pages need to focus on how you're going to help your customers. So that would be, you can throw up a question. Are you experiencing XYZ problem, and then answer it, and then people go, yes, I get it, they understand what I need, and then they're more likely to click through on something else.
Did you see that thing? You and I are members of a same online group, and there was something shown not so long ago about somebody that did a website with, instead of having about us or whatever, they had about you, and they actually spoke about their customers. Did you see that?
No, I don't remember seeing that one.
I thought that was incredibly innovative, because instead of doing exactly what you just said in terms of talking about you, they actually talked about the customer and said, this is what who our customers are.
Yeah, and that's really good. If you can always bring it back to your customers, absolutely. So, and look, this is going to be, so homepage is one of the pages we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing about what to put on a services page, what to put on a contact page, what to put on an About Us page. So we will cover that in one of our future episodes.
Okay.
But it's a good idea. Try to bring it back to your customer as much as you can, even on the About Us page.
Okay.
Now, the next thing your homepage should include are catchy headlines. So you always want to keep people, I've just lost. You want people to keep scrolling and looking at other parts of your website. So you want to keep them on your website as much as you can, because you want to prove that you are the expert. And so catchy headlines will do that. The other thing is links to key areas of your website. So if you want to highlight a specific service or a program, or you're launching something, have links to key areas. Don't have it all on the homepage. Just have maybe a graphic or a banner or something, and link that to a page that provides more information.
Right.
We've talked about navigation, so that should be at the top of the page. Now and this is not so much part of the design, but your homepage needs to feature keywords that people might potentially search to find your products and services, keywords and key phrases, calls to action. So click here, discover more, download this, check this out, that sort of thing. And again, we will be covering calls to action in much more depth. Your website needs to be visually appealing, because as I said, there's like 1.8 billion websites, and I know it's a bit scary, isn't it? And the thing is, even though they are not all your direct competitors, but we have a much higher expectation of what we're going to see on a website. And because there are some incredible websites that offer, fantastic functionality, and their design is beautiful, we kind of expect to see that on everybody that we deal with. So it's important that your website is visually appealing. If you think she'll be right, mate, she won't be.
Just for people outside of Australia, that's Australian slang, saying it'll be okay.
Thank you. Are we going to have like a translation in 20 different languages?
Translation services between Australian slang and the rest of the world, yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing which is great to have on a homepage are videos. Now, we are incredibly lazy. We don't like to read too much. So if you can have a video when somebody's scrolling through your website and they can watch it, brilliant. But I would say get a professional video person to help you with that. on your homepage, it's also a good idea to prove your credibility. And you will see on a lot of websites it says as featured in or as seen on, and they might have logos of well-known TV channels that they've been featured on, or in magazines or on other websites. The other way to prove your credibility is to have a few testimonials.
Yep.
And you don't need to have a lot, but maybe 3 or 4 testimonials on the homepage and link to more testimonials. Contact information. Now, your contact information should be at the bottom of each page. So include it in the footer, and then it gets displayed everywhere. And one thing that I've noticed on a few websites that I've reviewed recently is don't run your text from left to right. I mean, still run them from left to right, don't write it backwards. But what I mean is divide it up into columns.
Right.
So that your website has 2 or 3 columns. Never run it across the whole
page.
It's really hard to read. I mean, there's a reason why newspapers have columns, because it's a lot easier to read. And the same thing is on a website.
Yep.
And so if you can initially just draw and include all of these elements where you will fit them on the website, once you actually come to building the website, it's going to be a lot easier than if you're doing it just from scratch whilst you are actually building the website. So draw it on a piece of paper, do it in PowerPoint or in Canva, or if you've got graphic software, I think Illustrator.
Yeah.
That's all good. Yeah. So just so that you have an idea on how it's going to look and where the different elements are going to be.
Would you suggest that people spend a lot of time online looking at other websites that they actually like, that they can resonate with in terms of, you know, how simple they are, and just to get some ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, a lot of people struggle with the design elements of a website, and especially if you're an engineer like my dad and my brother, they don't think the design, they don't have the design mind. And so having a look at other websites, I think it gives you a great idea of where to start, but then obviously you've got your own products, your services, your own spin on things, so make it your own. But yeah, going online and having a look around, and not necessarily just websites in your own industry. Have a look at somebody else in different industries.
So one of the questions that I've always wanted to be asking you since we started this series, and I haven't until now, and the obvious answer is going to be the Humaneity website, but I'm going to take that out of the equation for you. What's the most magnificent website that you've ever seen?
Humaneity.
I know that, but no, seriously, what's, you know, is there a website that just sticks in your mind as being a really, really amazing website?
I can't say that there is. And I think it's because I see that many websites every day. I see certain elements. I'm drawn to certain elements. So it just depends on where I am. If it's early in the morning and I see a website that's got a beautiful picture of a coffee, I'm drawn to that.
I was going to say, it's a bit like alcohol. It depends on the time of the day, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I can't say that, you know, there's one website that I would just keep going back to. For me, it's more about the functionality of a website, and what I'm doing at the time. Do you have a favorite one?
No, I don't. And I was going to say though that I guess I can relate more to certain industry style websites, because if you look at the travel industry, right, they have a lot of user-friendly functionality, generally speaking, if they're a good website. So, you know, we all go to a travel website to book a holiday or book a trip or whatever, and it always seems that the functionality in most of the cases is really good. But if I want to use a plumber, and I just use plumbing as an example here, I have never seen a great plumber's website. Like, there's nothing that tells you can tell that the plumber has done his own website, right? And it looks like he's done his own website.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
But if I look at the airline industry, for an example, they're highly professional. And of course, there's a big difference between a big company and a small company. But I'm just saying there's no reason why a plumber can't have a website looking as great as an airline, right? There's no reason these days why you can't.
No, and finally, you should mention, I just finished a website for a local plumber.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And he stands out above everybody else. I mean, that sounds a little bit like conceited, but no, because we added elements that his website needed to have. You know what, even like recently I was looking for an accountant and I wanted somebody in the local area. I found a company and I contacted them and I never heard back. I filled out a form on their website and I thought, well, either they don't want business or they didn't get it or anything like that. There was no phone number, there was nothing else. And so there are you're right, a lot of the trades, they don't take it seriously because a lot of tradies, they don't like hanging out on their website, but they don't recognize how much they're actually losing out and how easy it would be for you to stand out from the rest of the competition because a lot of trades don't have very good websites.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that point up because I think there's a huge opportunity out there for small businesses. And let's stick to the trade of plumbing for a moment. I know a couple of plumbers who have got their girlfriends or their wives to build their website because that's what they do, right? They build a website for their husband or their boyfriend, and at the end of the day there's an opportunity there to really stand out and to get more business. And if you are hungry, then the website can be something that really drives more business your way. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what, it's funny that you bring that up. One of the questions I get, I know people are asking, should I build the website myself or should I get somebody else to build it? And
there's a reason you're a plumber. That's what you should say. There's a reason you're a plumber. Right.
Yeah, it's like you would not trust me with a tool. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do my own plumbing. I'm not going to go and represent myself in court if I ever have to. I'm not going to do my tax returns because I don't know enough about the industry. I don't know about all the latest trends and things like that. So sometimes it's, look, the way I look at it is people look at either doing the website themselves. They get their neighbor's niece who's just graduated from high school to create the website. They go to India or Philippines to get a website, or they get a local person. And the question is, which is the best one? And look, each one has pros and cons. The first three, really the main pro is that you will save yourself a few $100s. But how much is it going to cost you long term? Your niece or your nephew, they don't have the experience unless they've studied design and they finished uni and they're now working in the industry. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 18 or 19-year-old who has been taking a class in high school about how to design a website, and they create the website for you, because there's so much more than few pretty pictures and a little bit of information. So much more goes into it. If you design it yourself and you enjoy design and you enjoy technology and you want to learn, I say go for it. It'll probably take you a little bit longer to make it happen. But I find for most people, they find the process overwhelming. And instead of focusing on what they do best, which may be coaching, consulting, or providing some sort of a service, plumbing. So focus on that, earn your money and pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
If you go to places like India and Philippines, there are some very talented people, but what I have found is the culture is so different to what we have here. And I used to use developers in developing countries just so that I could save a bit of money for my clients. But I actually found out it ended up costing a lot more in the long term, because one of the things that I found was they would always promise but never deliver on time. And I'm not sure whether that's kind of the culture. It's like, I'll never say no to you. So I'll say I'll deliver it tomorrow, and when you chase them tomorrow, oh, it's not done yet, and you have to keep chasing and chasing. So I think, investing a little bit of extra money, and it doesn't have to cost, maybe $2,000 into getting a professional website that gets done really quickly with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Ivana, we say it many times on the show. We want to encourage people to do their own process that they feel comfortable with. So go off and do all those other alternatives, because you're going to end up back at Ivana's door anyway at some stage. And that's why we're doing this series, so you can actually understand what's involved in the process. Okay, let's move on. So getting back to sorry to distract you there, but
no, that's
you
right.
didn't think you were going to end up talking about plumbing today, did you?
Oh, you know what? I'm not surprised with anything but what you throw at me. So that was a question that I know people are often asking, like, is it worthwhile me investing? No, I would say no. Get somebody else who's been doing it, who's got the experience to do it.
Yep.
And if you need help, call me. So the next thing that we've got, and we're going to put this in the show notes, is a downloadable. And that's kind of a PDF report that I've put together, which talks about how to create a homepage. So it expands a little bit more about what we talked about today. And the homework for today is to create the layout of a homepage. And if you want feedback, maybe submit it through to us, and I'll be happy to have a look.
It could be one of the ones we do a quick review on at the beginning of the next show.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Now, the competition, folks, we've got a fantastic competition running, and what you have to do is send us your website, and you can do that via the Humaneity website. So we'll put all the details in the show notes. Drop us your link to your website. We will then put you in the draw to win the services of Ivana Katz, and she's going to do an amazing audit of your website for the lucky winner. There's going to be one person chosen. And you were just telling me before the show, we're going to do a couple of rounds of this, Ivana, right? So if they do miss out on the first time, they might be able to be lucky the second time round.
Absolutely. So I think we'll have the dates of when this particular competition closes, and then we'll open it up again maybe a month or so later. And we'll talk about the review and everything that we've done and everything that we cover on the competition page.
Fantastic. So there you go. If you're out there and you want some really serious feedback, then Ivana's going to spend all her time going over your website with a fine-tooth comb. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this lady has a very fine-tooth comb. So she will find out everything that you need to know for your website. Fantastic. So what are we going to be talking about in the next week's show, Ivana?
I think the next one, and I'm still trying to decide on that, but I think so some of the topics we'll be covering, and I'll decide what might be the most, what might make the most sense. We're going to be talking about the most important pages to include on your website, also additional pages that you may not have thought to include, planning the design and content of your services page. So if you offer services or programs and all the elements that should be included on that page. Also the same thing for products pages. We'll be talking about what to include on your contacts, which we just talked about a few minutes ago, and also sourcing and creating images and banners. And so that's going to be a pretty big topic. We'll be talking in the future, we'll talk about trust icons and credibility of your website, calls to action, creating a blog. So there's a lot to consider. So how are you between now and about 2027?
I've already booked the time away.
And it's forever evolving. Things are forever changing, and I never pretend to know everything there is to know. In fact, the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know.
And as we say in every episode, if you have got a question that you want to ask Ivana, the contact details are going to be in all the show notes. So drop her a note. She's only too happy to respond to you and let you know. But make sure you're checking out the show. So if you're on the Humaneity YouTube channel watching this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow the journey on here. Also, the Humaneity website. Take some time to look around the Humaneity website, because Ivana's work is all there for you to see. So if you think you're going to end up with something as special as that, you're wrong, because I've told Ivana not to make any good websites like that one. So So Humaneity is the benchmark, folks. That's the benchmark. So yeah, check us out there, and there's going to be links to all of Ivana's sites as well that you can go and check out and see her amazing website, because it's got all the information on her website. She's walking the talk, and she's showing how it should be done as well. So there we go. Any last thoughts for today, Ivana?
No, I think we've given enough homework. I think we've given enough information. So just go and do it. Don't be afraid. Give it a go.
That's the thing. Well, thank you again for joining me, and I'm already looking forward to next week.
Me too.
See you then.
Bye. Bye.